I'm Brett, and this is my training log. Just to give you an idea of my training history, I started working out when I was about 18. Kind of worked out just sporadically. Then, when I got to college, finally started working out a little bit more consistently. Ended up graduating with my degree in exercise science, got my CSCS certification. Then I tried to get a job training athletes. Unfortunately, there weren't as many of those jobs available as I had hoped. So I just ended up working as a personal trainer at a big box gym. Continued my own training while I was doing that. But about 4 years later, I realized that working only when people aren't at their day jobs. I was waking up at dawn and then not getting home until 10 p.m. and then working another job in between when other people were working. Just wasn't going to work out for me. So I ended up quitting the personal training. And then while I was continuing my own training, I didn't really have the enthusiasm that I did before. I wasn't playing any sports or anything like that. So I basically just did enough to maintain. I still did blasts here and there, but mostly maintaining, and I was mostly doing shorter, you know, exercises where I would do one set and then some rest pause, which I think is probably the most efficient way to work out. And I continue to do that to this day. Then I turned 40 with the fear of decreasing testosterone pretty much always in the back of my mind. I decided I should give it one last push to try to gain as much muscle and strength as I can before the inevitable decline. My hope is that whatever muscle I'm able to build will help me stave off the Grim Reaper for as long as possible. So, to make this experiment, that's the way I'm thinking of it, a little bit more legitimate, I went and got a DEXA scan, showed my body fat at 16.4%, was a little bit lower a couple weeks ago, but I started increasing my caloric intake to try to start actually building muscle instead of just maintaining. The DEXA scan had my lean mass at 163 pounds, and I also got a Staiku 3D body scan, but I'm not going to get into those numbers until later on, probably in a progression video. I've managed to get my strength up to a little bit below where I was at my peak around the age of 24. Those numbers at my peak were 320 bench max, 400 high bar squat max, and 500 deadlift max. So I don't know how often I'll be trying to max out. I'm sure I'll do it every once in a while, but hopefully we can match those numbers just with reps. But yeah, we'll see. So a lot of the muscle gains I'll be getting, really I'm at the peak after that point that I had, but I'm hoping to get back to matching those numbers and then surpassing them. But we'll see how it goes, this post 40 journey. I'm going to be trying to upload as soon after the workouts as possible, but I've already logged a week of workouts, so I'm just going to be kind of uploading those whenever I can get to them with some dates on them. So you'll know the frequency of my workouts if that interests you. Yeah, I guess that's about it. So now let's go over some key elements of this experiment that I'm calling Project Zenith. First off, I'm going to try to maintain a protein intake of 1 gram per pound of body weight on the low end and 25 grams above that on the high end. Now this high end is more so just I've never been a big eater, so if I don't need to eat more than that, and a lot of science nowadays indicates that much more than that has diminishing returns. So I'll just be trying to make sure I stay over 1 gram per pound. Then next, I'm going to make sure my caloric intake at the start with my body weight around 200 pounds is 3,350 calories. That breakdown is 25% protein, 30% fat, and 45 carbs, give or take. And I'm going to be adjusting that. Obviously, I need to adjust that as my body weight increases. So, yeah. And next part of that is that I'm going to be trying to maintain a body fat percentage between 13 and 17%. This is just to try to maximize hormone production. Need any help I can get at this age. There's studies that say over 20% hormone production starts to decrease and the bad hormones begin to rise. So put 17% just because once you start getting above that, it's hard to really see any abdominals, and when that happens, any further fat you gain is kind of difficult to tell, so it just starts getting a little out of hand, or it can. Then after that, I'm going to make sure that after training a certain set of muscles, such as leg, chest, or shoulders, the next time I exercise those muscles again won't be until they are no longer sore. For lagging body parts like my chest and legs, I'll be trying to hit those within 24 hours of that soreness being gone. And then with my back, it's one of my more easily trained body parts for how much I get out of it. I'm going to be allowing a little bit more leeway so my body can focus on building up those lagging parts. I'm going to be beginning this bulk primarily using high intensity rest pause principles, just because I think that's the most efficient way to train, and it's what I've been doing. Also, it just kind of, you just hit it hard and quick, and then really all you're worrying about after that is making sure you eat proper nutrition, and then making sure that you're allowing time for recovery. So it just kind of, the math of it all is a little simpler. So when and if I plateau with this rest pause high intensity training, I want to be primarily just because I'm curious to try it again, switching to Max OT, which is a program I used that I got from a natural bodybuilder named Jeff Willett, and Skip LaCour, I believe, is the person who's credited with developing it. That was the program I used to get myself to my peak strength. So just kind of curious to try that again if the high intensity rest pause stuff plateaus. Beyond that, if I hit a plateau with the Max OT, I'll just consider adding more volume. I'm excited to get this little experiment, Project Zenith, underway. Hopefully you guys find this somewhat interesting. Maybe can hope, with myself being probably on the cusp of between intermediate and advanced, it's kind of an a unique position to be in at 40 years old and trying to gain muscle. So we'll see how much muscle I can build naturally at this stage of my life. See if we can learn something through this process. Thanks for watching.